What's up, foodies, and welcome back to the channel. This week this video is going to be for one of my favorite soups at the moment, which is this okra soup where I've combined beef and prawn, and this did not take a lot of time to cook. I like to have this with oatmeal swallow, which I've done in a separate short. If you haven't seen that already, do check it out. I'm also going to link all the ingredients I used for this recipe in the video description down below, so check that out if you want to try out this for yourself. But let's get straight into cooking. The first ingredient on my list is some diced beef. In addition to that, I'm going to be adding prawn. You can use whatever protein or fish or meat of your preference. I'm also going to be using some palm oil. I have 2 tablespoons of palm oil and 1 seasoning cube. I have 1 whole diced onion and a tablespoon of crayfish. This is optional, but it just adds a nice flavor to the soup. I'm also going to be using 1.5 bell peppers and okra, of course, because what is okra soup without okra itself? Now I'm going to get straight into cooking, and because I am using beef, I'm going to start off by cooking my beef first, and I'm just seasoning it with some salt and pepper. Then I'm going to add half of my seasoning cube. I added a cup of water to this, so there is some liquid that I would have as stock to cook the soup later on in this video. Once I have all the seasonings in there, I'm going to give this a stir, cover up my pot, and cook the beef for 7 minutes. Because the chunks are quite small, I don't need to cook this for very long. Once this boiled up at 7 minutes, I just went ahead to give it another stir, and then I removed all of the beef from the stock because I'm going to be adding the beef first before the stock later on in this video, so I'm just separating them at this point. Once I had that set aside, I'm going to grab another pot, and in that pot I'm going to be adding my palm oil and heat that up. Because it's cold in this part of the world, oils just tend to do what they want to do, so once I add this to the pot, it would melt again and be ready to cook. Once that was melted and heated in my pot, I'm going to add my diced onion and just fry that until it's soft, stirring as I go along the way. Once it has fried to my preference and my liking, I'm actually going to blend my bell pepper into a puree. Now, if you want your soup to be spicy, you can add scotch bonnet or chilies. I have chili powder, which is why I just only blended my bell peppers I'm frying at this point. Now this, I'm going to stir and add the other half of my seasoning cube just so it's in there. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of chili powder. Once that has been added, I'm going to cover and cook this for 15 minutes until all of the water in the bell pepper has almost vanished. So it's this consistency like this. I'm going to return the cooked meat to the pot and stir that into the sauce, stirring and coating all of the meat at this point. Once I'm done stirring that in, I'm actually going to pour the beef stock right back in, and because the stock has some salt and some pepper, I might not need to add a lot of salt again to this soup. Just taste as you cook and then season to your preference. Now I'm going to add my ground crayfish. This has a little bit of salt and it has a really nice flavor that I like to add to my soups personally. Once I have stirred that in, the next thing I'm going to do is actually throw in my prawns because I want them to cook for about 5 minutes total. So I'm going to add them first before I would add my okra. Now my okra I've actually prepared in 2 different ways. The majority I have diced, and then I just blended like 4. The blended or pureed okra will make your soup more slimy, so if you want your soup super slimy, blend more of your okra, but I like mine to be on the crunchier side with just a little bit of sliminess or drawiness in there. So I'm going to stir in the chopped or diced okra in first, and then add the pureed one and just mix that into my soup. Okra doesn't need to cook for long. For 2 to 3 minutes, it's ready. You want to have some nutritional value still in the soup when it is all cooked and ready. Once I gave that a stir, I allowed it to cook for about a minute or so, and my soup is technically ready. I honestly love okra soup. I think it has been one of my favorite soups from when I was a child, and I like to have it with either eba or oatmeal swallow. Today I'm going to be having oatmeal swallow because it's not as heavy compared to eba for me personally. I enjoyed this soup. It smelled so good. It was so satisfying and not too difficult to make. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this recipe video, and don't forget to tag me on social media at Conscious Foodie if you try this out. Until next time, stay happy and healthy. Bye.